Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to this week's show. Now, last week I was in Tucson for the world's biggest gem and mineral show, and let me tell you, it was almost exactly what I expected, but there was some interesting takes that I had on when I go back in the future, what sites I will focus more on. And yes, that's Kyla Cat, who is being my assistant tonight. Um, and what sites maybe not so much attention. So first, as I promised, we're going to do some show and tell. So the first thing I want to show and tell is the one piece of jewelry that I bought. I did indulge, and this ring, turquoise and a pearl, and some aquamarine or topaz, was $29 with a sterling silver band. So I thought that was a pretty good deal. And this I bought at Gem and Mineral, the Tucson Gem and Mineral Society's show at the convention center, which was, um, it starts the very last weekend of the month-long show. So it opened on Thursday morning. That's when I went, and it was two sections. There was a ballroom that was open, and then there was a lower convention center that was open. I will say, if you're for jewelry, then this is probably the place to go, because jewelry wise, they have some gorgeous stuff. I mean, you can see the sparkle on that. So definitely, if you like jewelry, the convention center is the one to go to, because I would say they are 90% jewelry and so definitely, the convention center is where you will find bling. Um, Rings, necklaces, bracelets, cabochons, jewelry findings. So if that is your thing, then wait for the last weekend and definitely go check out the convention center, and bring your money, because while the price on my ring was, I thought, affordable, definitely the prices that I saw were quite steep. So just keep that in mind when you're going. Now, as for show and tell. So the first one I'm going to show is stuff that I got at Gem World. Now, this is just a fraction, because my show is only 15 minutes long. So this is just a fraction of what I bought there. So the first one I'm going to show is this pyrite dragon skull. Now, it's quite heavy. And like kept on telling myself, you brought a suitcase, not your truck. So I had to be kind of limited in what I was actually going to bring back. But this skull, I thought, for the weight and the detail on it. And being pyrite, I thought was actually a pretty good buy. It was only $9.99. Now, Gem World is kind of like the superstore for um, gems, minerals, stuff of that nature. And really, the prices were quite exciting. So, this um, is a baggie of 10 gemstone beaded bracelets. And I got this baggie of 10 for $8. Again, I thought that was a really great price. And this, now other vendors were selling quartz crystals of this size. This is about, I'd say 4 inches. They were selling crystals of this size. It depended on where you went. I saw anywhere from like $10 to like $2 a gram. So it really did depend on where you were shopping at. But at Gem World, $4. Now in regular crystal shops, this easily $20. $20. And I got it for $4 at Gem World. So Gem World in Tucson, Arizona, definitely worth checking out if you go there. Um, give yourself about an hour, hour and a half to shop because they have just aisle after aisle after aisle of gems. A lot of amethyst, which honestly, if I want amethyst, I'm going to go get it myself. It's a trip I've done several times, but I'm going to go up to Thunder Bay, Ontario, and just buy it up there because they have up at the Blue Point mine up in that area. They have from the lilac colored amethyst to the chocolate amethyst. So really, amethyst doesn't really excite me as a shopper. But when I'm prospecting or going to get it myself, yeah, I'll get a little bit excited. But not so much when I see just row after row of amethyst because I know about how much it costs and where to get some really good quality stones. So now we're going to take a break and we're going to hear from one of our sponsors. And when I come back from my commercial, I'm going to pick up with the actual shows. So when I planned out my trip, I specifically planned to go the last week of the show because I assumed that the prices would be better. Um, you really don't have to worry about there not being a variety of specimens to pick through because these vendors bring thousands of specimens. So you're really only limited in how much time you have to spend. Um, now, the first show that we went to was the 22nd Street show, and it was huge. I mean, just massive. It's 3 tenths. But when I say tenths, I want you to rethink that because these tenths are enormous. Um, we're talking like about 3 acres each. That's how big these tents are. And at least in the first 10, it's more high end with a focus on high quality fossils that are in slabs. So you would use those in like your home decor for like a fireplace or a bath splash or something of that nature. And high end jewelry, high end artwork that features minerals or gems. And then you have your food court. And then the next tent is like 3 acres. It is massive and probably has at least 100 vendors in there. Now, the days that I was there, I had thought that Tucson would be warm in the 70s to 60s, and I was kind of planning on that. What we didn't anticipate was the weather system that came through last week and having 50-mile-per-hour winds whipping through the streetways and everything else. So it was alarming to be caught out in one of those, which I ended up getting caught out in one. But the shows on the 22nd Street, the tent shows, you're looking at vendors who have minerals, who have specimens, who have a surplus of things. And because they have such a huge surplus, you are able to negotiate prices. And that's one of the things that I will recommend with everyone is when you go to these shows, negotiate the prices because they're looking to make a sell and they don't want to pack up every single one of those pieces and take them back to wherever they're from. So, more than likely, they will make you a deal on everything. So, go check out the 22nd Street show. Now, the middle tent, which is huge, is got so many vendors. They're right next to each other. Sometimes two of them will be sharing a stall. So um, just take your time and shop. It is very secure. They have great security. There's a good police presence there. So you don't really have to worry too much about somebody stealing from you, pickpocketing you. Um, and they have camera systems up all over the place. So now from there, you will go, there's a small courtyard of food, and then there is a large gap in parking spaces in between the second tent show and the third tent show. The third tent show is a little bit more open. There's not as many vendors in there. I did walk down to it just to see what they had. I won't say it was disappointing. It was just not as impressive as the second tent. And they also have a alley of tent vendors that are alongside of that show, and that's where I got caught out in the windstorm. So if you feel like doing the walk, we definitely got our street miles in that day, and definitely got to where we were going. Now, the second street is what they call, or the next show that I went to is the one that we call the hotel streets, which is where somebody who is very entrepreneurial bought like the Motel 6 and the Red Roof Inn and stuff like that. And then what they do is they rent each room out to a different vendor, and then the vendors have their show in their hotel room, and then it also merges out onto the parking lot. So that show was also a mix of jewelry, but also lots of specimens. And I'm going to show you one of the specimens that I bought. which I thought was a pretty good deal. So this is an argonite crystal, about the size of my hand, and this was $10. Now, normally the small ones that are about, that big are about $5. So I thought that was a great buy. Um, Very, very good deal. The prices, again, everybody's looking to make a sale, so it's very negotiable and you get more bang for your buck. Now, one of the ones that I passed on the first day, but I definitely had to go back and get was um, these faceted cut quartz crystals. I got clear quartz, I got a smoky quartz, I got a blue quartz, I got an amethyst cut. These were $2 per carat. So each one of these gemstones, um, this guy, um, and all the other ones were about $6 each. And wanting something bling bling to bring home, I definitely had to go back and get those because they just kept on popping up in my mind. And I was like, I have to go back and get those. Now, the show's going a little bit long today. So the last one I'm going to talk about is um, the opals that I got at the convention center. And so these were what they call chips, but I just wanted specimens. So these were $3 each. And I wanted at least five of them. So I asked the vendor if I could do five of them for $12, and they agreed upon it. So again, very negotiable on the price. On next week's show, I will talk about the Oracle Street and the fossil mineral galleries. So tune in next week for that recap. And until next week, stay curious out there and go explore your world.